what are the things that you are currently obsessed with outside of it could be nursing related. It doesn't have to be nursing related, but I want to know, like, is it Netflix? Are you catching yourself up on Game of Thrones? Like, what is Adrianne's me time? What is me time for Adrianne right now?
Me time for Adrianne is like dinking around at my desk listening to podcasts.
Okay.
My list of favorite podcasts is so long and oppressive. I can't even name a few of them because I'm like, oh, but then there's that one. Oh, but then this one is good too. And actually, this is not only how I was inspired to want to do a podcast, but I'm like a junkie for podcasts. I used to be the NPR person, like all the time. NPR's on in the car, in my earbuds, in the house. But I found that wasn't good for my mental health. I still pay attention to the news. I have a responsibility, and not to just be like, oh, I don't have to pay attention to that because it doesn't affect me. Like, I try to be very conscious of that. Again, that's my privilege talking of like, oh, I have the ability to not think about war-torn countries because I don't live there. But does that mean that I shouldn't give a shit about our foreign policy? No. So I like NPR, but I found that it was hurting my mental health. So podcasts are the way to go. If I'm home alone, there's a podcast on either in my earbud or on the Alexa or whatever. So yeah, that's it. I like listening to things because then I can do other stuff.
Give me at least one or two podcasts right now. Give me something tangible.
I'll tell you the podcast that started me wanting to do a podcast. And that's a podcast called Weird Medicine. And every day, yes, it's my favorite podcast. It's been on for a long time. Some of it is behind a paywall now because they're like a Sirius XM show and they do the podcast. I've literally been listening to this podcast since I started nursing school. I had a 30-minute commute one way to school up the interstate. It was like a 30 to 40-minute show. And I tell you something, there's stuff that I know about that people are like, how the fuck do you know that? Where did you get that? They didn't teach that in nursing school. Nope, I heard that on a podcast from a doctor. And their Weird Medicine is completely uncensored. So they get all the questions about poop and testicles and erectile dysfunction and, fetishes. And so it's not all sexual in nature, but it's people calling up and being like, I have this weird discharge and I'm afraid to go to the doctor. It was incredibly inspiring to me because I was like, this guy is saying whatever the fuck he wants. He's not violating HIPAA. He's not discrediting himself as a physician. If anything else, he's catering to people. He's providing a service to people that otherwise wouldn't have these answers or would be afraid to talk to you're facing your doctor who's like, whoever they are. You don't feel comfortable being like, I've had a hard time getting a boner. Like, it's hard to do that. They talk about all that. They just have those conversations. Theirs is like a call-in show. Like, they take like calls from people. But that was the thing that made me go, oh, is there one of these for nurses? Like, is there a weird nursing? So yeah, that's kind of where, and to give you one other little tidbit, before I started listening to podcasts, before I was making a podcast, I had a radio show on the local college station. And
stop it. You were born to do this, Adrianne. You were born to do this. I worked at a call center.
I had a radio show. But the thing is, the radio show, it was called Little Village Live. It's on iTunes. You can find all my old episodes. Here in town, the local like arts magazine, Little Village, it's a free publication. I got involved with them doing photography and, because I was going to shows. I was in college. I was going to shows. I was at the bars. I was taking pictures. They were good. So then they started letting me do more and more stuff. So I started blogging for them. And then I found out that their live music show was about to be without a host. So I stepped up. So essentially 1 hour a week in the middle of the week, I would go into this public art space on campus. I would have booked a band. The band will come in, play a couple songs, answer a couple questions, play a couple songs, answer, so on and so forth for the hour. It was all different genres, touring bands, local bands. And I loved it so much that I was like, radio. I want to be fuck nursing. I want to be a radio host. And then I went through nursing school and I said, oh, I can get audio software and I can watch YouTube videos and learn how to edit, and I can get on the horn and I can say whatever I want because I don't have a sponsor or a publishing company or a studio to answer to. So, so that's one, Weird Medicine. And then the other one that's my political comedy show that I listen to is Throwing Shade.
Throwing shade?
Brian Safi and Aaron Gibson. So first of all, it's a little manic at times, but I love it because they're funny, they're opinionated. Aaron Gibson is like, she is the person that I most relate to in the world, because she'll be like, this fucking what? This is injustice, like these things that are happening, like this is horseshit. And I'm like, fucking preach it, sister. Like,
yes.
And then Brian Safi is like a homosexual Lebanese male, and he, and they talk about everything: women's issues, civil rights, gay issues, healthcare, stupid politicians. Love it. Like, if I see that there's a new episode, I'm on it. I also watch YouTube like TV, and that's all I'll say. I won't get into that because that's like a whole other episode of like the YouTube channels I follow.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Oh, Adrian, I love it. I'm gonna have to look at. You said throwing shade.
Throwing shade.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
If you're a conservative, racist, homophobic asshole, you won't like it. But if you're down with empowerment and identifying shit that's fucked up that we need to take action on, that's the place to go.
I love it. Adrian, please, Nursing Uncensored, please tell them where they can find you, how they can find you, all of that stuff. Plug away, please.
If you're not a podcast aficionado, you can just go to nursinguncensored.com. You can play it right in the browser. You can download it from the browser. I've got the blog and the episodes. Also, we're on every podcasting. I say we, the royal we. I'm on every podcasting platform: iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, Stitcher, Podbean, all of them. So you can find me just about anywhere.
Cool beans.
We have 68 episodes and just reached 150,000 downloads. So,
are you shitting me?
I'm not shitting you. The hardest part has been now that people are emailing me for advice and questions, and I'm like, I gotta go work. I don't have time to answer this email. So now it's a matter of like trying to keep up. And so I've just decided that every question that I get from a listener, if I can answer it, I'm just going to do it as either a blog post or an episode, because so if you're listening and I haven't emailed you back yet, I'm tired.
That is a hardcore, intense, lengthy way to explain and answer questions.
Sometimes it can be a 5-minute episode. Sometimes it can be a 200-word blog post. Right. Sometimes it's just me getting on Instagram and being like, oh yeah, Instagram. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. You can find me just.
Her Instagram is going to be on the screen the entire time for those who are watching it on YouTube. And for those who are not watching it on YouTube, it is Nursing Uncensored? Nursing
Uncensored. Yeah.
Keep things simple. I like it.
Yeah, keep it simple. You can also find me, Adrianne Behning. You can search me, and my web presence is there. It's there.
So I only say this when it's true, you guys, but it is very much true. I slid into Adrianne's DMs, and she answered. So like she said, if she hasn't answered you, it's because she's working on it, but she will answer you. So go connect with her. Go look her up. Go listen to her stuff. It is legit. I mean, when she says uncensored, she gets into the nitty-gritty, the dirty details, ladies and gentlemen. I love it.
Everything from poop to professionalism.
That's right. You got to have it all. Adrianne, thank you so much. I really appreciate this. We should do this more often. You get me going, girl. You get me going.
Yeah, let's we'll have to maybe I'll have to jump in on a couple episodes where you're talking about those topics where you need somebody with a really strong opinion.
Oh, please and thank you. You know I'm gonna need all of that.
Awesome. Well, thanks to everybody who listened and watched. This was a lot of fun. It's like I said, it's cool being on the other side of the interview for once.
Cool beans. All right, bye-bye, y'all.